The Astros have just wrapped up their first homestand of the 2026 season. It's a 5-2 homestand. They just finished up a three-game sweep of the Boston Red Sox. They will have an off day tomorrow and start a new series with the Sacramento Athletics on Friday. It was a really good series. It was a complete series. Some of the questions coming out of the Angels series was one, the first two games they didn't hit. Pitching was good, but they didn't hit. And then games 3 and 4, pitching was bad. They hit, but it was a lot of errors on the Angels' part, which led to a lot of runs. So, I mean, a little bit of a question here. We know the Angels aren't a good team. How would they go against a Red Sox team that we think very highly of? And it went very well for us. We played a complete series. We played a complete style of baseball. Defense was on really, really good. Hitting was good. They were taking their walks. They were hitting balls hard. They weren't missing mistakes. I feel like the way they were hitting was a very sustainable style of an offense. They were taking tough pitches. They were hitting mistakes, and they were taking their walks. They weren't being overly aggressive. A big part of that is that Altuve starting this year. Well, not starting this year, but starting off this year, being more selective, waiting for his pitch, and it's kind of trickling down through the whole lineup, but it's really nice to see them have a whole complete approach. And then obviously the pitching was really, really good this series. Um, and the defense behind them was equally as good as and equally as big a reason for them being as good as they were. Game one, McCullers was sensational. It felt like 2017 all over again. Altuve went 4 for 4 with 2 home runs. Correa had some really, really, really good plays behind him at short. Even Isak had a really good play at third to start a double play. And McCullers was just magnificent. You know, we don't expect that from him anymore. It's really unfortunate coming off the injuries, but that's a guy, he's a really good person. He loves his team, loves his city. That's a guy you want to see succeed. So to see him come out after all those injuries, for him to finally have a healthy offseason, a healthy spring, and to come out and throw seven innings of 1 run ball, 4 hits, 9 Ks, 1 walk. I mean, it was brilliant, and it came at a perfect time, especially because that it was the start of that Red Sox series on Monday, and going into that series the 4 days before in that 4 game set against the Angels, our bullpen got really taxed up. So he was able to go 7 innings, and Ryan Weiss finished those last 2 innings, and it really saved our bullpen. And we'll talk about what Hunter Brown did in a little bit, but let's get what Hunter Brown did in that second game in a little bit. But let's get back into this offense. Jordan had a homer in that first game. The broadcast all series long was showing us that how he's basically the best hitter of all time against the Red Sox, which is pretty cool. I mean, it's like a broken record. Every broadcast, I felt like every time he was hitting, they showed some stat about him having the highest OPS of all time, including postseason against the Red Sox. Over guys like Babe Ruth. It's fun, but it got a little annoying there at the end of the series. Bryce Matthews in that first game had an absolute bomb. I think it was 434, and he hit the ball 111.1 miles an hour. He has such easy power. I mean, if we can just limit those strikeouts, he's a very athletic guy. I think he'll be fine in the outfield. We just need to give him some time to get used to it, kind of like Cam last year. Bryce had that play. I think it was in game one where he had Story beat at second base on that ball into the little corner there and left. But Story made a little good swim move on Altuve, and Altuve wasn't able to make the tag. But you're seeing signs of him developing as an outfielder. But back to that power and him at the plate, he has very easy power. He's shown it throughout his minor league career. He's very fast. He could be a guy that steals bases. We just need to cut down on those strikeouts. But there's potential there with Bryce. um, that's really it for game one. Other than Walker, he had another rope. But it was a very nice game one, very relaxed game one. Offense poured it on, 8-1. It was controlled. It was really most of the series was we stayed in control the whole series, but it was a really nice game one. And then in game two, very similar to game one, just in control the whole time. We win 9-2. And that's the one where you felt more comfortable going in. Obviously, you have your ace on the mound, Hunter Brown, and he was excellent. As we talked about when I was talking about McCullers, how he saved the bullpen. Brown did something of the same, and Bolton, the guy they brought up too. Brown went 6 innings with 1 hit, 1 run, 2 balls, 8 Ks. They took him out early. I think he got through the inning with 78 pitches. It was his first time, or obviously his second start, so his first time on 4 days rest this year. He only did that 4 times all of last year, so they took him out early and did the same thing with Burrows actually, which makes sense because it seems that on normal occasion they want both all their guys pitching on 5 days rest. So obviously Hunter, they want to be a little bit more babyish with him. I mean, they want him to stay healthy. So they took him out after 78 pitches, but then Bolton, the guy they brought up after they needed a fresh arm, so they sent down Christian Roa and brought up this Bolton kid. And he finished the game going 3 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, 5 Ks, gave up a homer. I'm pretty sure he got the save for that. I mean, what a job! What a job he did. He earned himself an extra shot, obviously on this big league roster. But they really saved the bullpen, and even today, the game today against the Red Sox, today being the final game, right? Uh, the bullpen has just been getting saved. And as far as the offense in game two, I mean, Jordan just doing Jordan things, went 2 for 3, had a double, had a homer. Um, that homer, he hit it 110.9 off the bat. Um, I- it's just incredible watching him day in and day out. Um, he's just so good. He hits everything hard. If you make a mistake, he's gonna crush it. If you don't want to push him, he's just gonna take his walk. It's really beautiful to watch. Pena played in that middle game. He had a hit. He hasn't really done much so far to start the year, but I mean, you can kind of expect that. Obviously, he's still getting into his groove with the finger injury and everything. So I'm not really too worried about Jeremy. Altuve had 2 walks in that middle game. I think he's up to 9 walks on the year, which goes a little bit more into what we're talking about, how he has been really selective this year. And it feels like it's trickling down through the whole lineup. I feel like the whole lineup has really had good at bats, making the pitchers work. We were getting all the pitchers out early in these games. I mean, going back to game one, Suarez only went 4 in the third inning, but I know he was on a little bit of a pitch count. He threw about 71 pitches, but still, we got the starter out in 4 in the third. And then Bayo on a normal pitch count, we got him out in 4 and 2/3. And then today against Crochet, same as Bayo, 4 and 2/3. He went about, or well, he went 5 innings, but he went about 90 pitches. So we're getting the starters out early, getting deep into their bullpen. And that's something personally for me I really love, especially because when you get into a 7 game series, if you're constantly getting that starter out early and making the other team use their bullpen a lot, then the later that series goes, you're gonna really start hitting off that bullpen. But for game two, Cam also had a homer. He had a 2-hit game there. Good to see. He went opposite field, and that was his first opposite field home run in his career, which was kind of surprising, seeing that last year he was really good at going the other way. Joey, I mean, no, my bad. Walker also had a really good game that second game. He still hasn't had a homer, which is kind of surprising based on the way he's been hitting, but he's been hitting the ball really, really hard. I mean, just constant 100-mile-an-hour exit velocity. He's had a double in that middle game. He's looked really good, really comfortable. It feels like finally this second year, not having to deal with all the stuff he was dealing with last year, he just finally got comfortable and he's looking really good. And if you remember last year, he really struggled here at Dyken Park. And he was really good on the road. So imagine now if he's hitting at home, if he continues to hit on the road, any close to what he was doing in this homestand, and this lineup's gonna look really good with Seawalk there hitting like, well, if he hits like this, it'd be better than what we expected. But finally getting what we paid for then, and Yiner, that middle game was the last game of the homestand, and he just looks really bad. He um he didn't strike out in that middle game, so that was a little bit encouraging. But he was still swinging at bad pitches, although it was a little bit better than in that Angel series. But it was just weak ground balls and weak fly balls. I mean, not no worry from the Red Sox there for Yiner. So that's unfortunate, man. I mean, with the way everyone else is hitting, we could just get that guy to go too. I mean, this offense can explode. But going to that third game, the game from today, fun game. Uh, you're going into it, you don't really know what to expect. Obviously, with Crochet on the mound, this was the tightest game of the series. We won 6-4, and this was the game where you can really just say that your full confidence in this offense. Not that, there's no confidence coming from the other two games, but for them to go and do what they did against Garrett Crochet, and off another elite reliever to have the inning they did off Garrett Whitlock, it's just so encouraging and so fun to watch these guys play baseball right now. Um, top top six guys all had a hit. Altuve went 1 for 4. All those other guys around him, two other than Jordan, Paredes, Correa, Walker, Smith, they all went 1 for 4, including Vasquez, who had a homer, which is pretty cool to see. Diaz might have to start watching out. Jordan had another 2-hit game. Uh, he just rakes. He had a double and a single off Crochet. And Crochet, he got a little angry. Crochet on a Crochet hit by pitch. Crochet was pitching him in to start every at bat, trying to get him off the plate. And I think it was his third at bat. Crochet pitched him in the first pitch like he usually does, and he missed a little off the plate. And then he came back second pitch and missed even more off the plate and hit Jordan, and Jordan got really upset. That's a little scary if I was Crochet, but he just continues to rake and he continues to be great. I mean, it shows you the difference having Jordan back. It's such a difference, and it makes this team so much better by miles and miles. And obviously, the big swing of the day came from uh, Carlos Correa. It was a 2-2 game in the fifth inning. Correa comes up with 2 on, and he hits a bomb into the Crawford boxes at 106.7 miles an hour, 402 feet, and we put up 5 runs on Garrett Crochet, the runner-up in Cy Young last year. I mean, just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day from the offense. And Crochet seems to struggle against us for whatever reason. We did this last year to him too, and even that year, 2 years ago, when he was really good with the White Sox, that last year when he became a starter, we hit off him as well. So it seems, I mean, if we ever go into a 7-game series against Boston and we hit really well with Crochet, that gives you a lot of confidence in that, if that's to happen sometime this year or in the future. Bros looked okay. He's having a little bit of trouble with his control, and some of his hits were also just weak hits and seeing eye ball base hits. But he only gave up 2 and 5, and only gave up 2 runs in 5 innings. And again, they took him out a little bit early, as far as pitch count, because on 4 days rest, he could have gone 6 innings. And he was followed by, in order, 6, 7, 8, 9, Blue Ball King, Tang, and Abreu. Blue Ball was amazing. He's been a revelation coming out of the bullpen. Last year he got his opportunity as a starter when he first came up, and he wasn't blowing your doors away, right? But then he came back and got an opportunity in the bullpen. He's been amazing, 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 amazing. And he's going to continue to get leverage innings. This time they only let him go 1 inning, which shows you they want to slowly move him down into those leverage innings and move him away from being a long reliever. And it looks like he's going to stay in the bullpen as permanent home. I mean, he's nails in there, man. With Abreu, we'll talk about Abreu's struggles in a bit, but with Abreu becoming a free agent at the end of the year, I think Blue Ball could step in as your setup guy next year if Abreu leaves. But King followed Blue Ball in that 7th inning. He was really good. 1 inning, no hits, no walks, 2 strikeouts. I mean, we've gotten used to this from Brian King. He's another guy that the Astros kind of got out of nowhere, who turns up to be a really good leverage reliever. And then Tang pitched that 8th inning. Um, wasn't his best inning, but I felt like he's looked really good overall. He had 1 run. It was that homer off Roman Anthony. I mean, the homer off Roman Anthony. It was homer from Wilyer Abreu. It was an inside fastball off the plate, and Wilyer went in and got it. But I mean, I think overall Tang has been a good addition. I know they talked about on the broadcast that Dana was really uh, advocating for Tang. He really likes his stuff. They said they've been trying to get this guy for years, so it's pretty cool to see him come in and do some pretty good things for us. And then the big worry is Abreu. When he gave up that homer to Roman Anthony, I got kind of scared. I was like, it's been a little worrisome watching him pitch lately. But then he locked back in and got 3 straight Ks. So there's that sign of hope that we were looking for from Abreu. I'm hoping that now, after getting those 3 straight Ks, he can lock back in and be the guy that we know he is. which would be really good for this bullpen, especially when you get Hader back. But I mean, I have no worries for him outside of the closer role. It just seems that recently in that closer role, he struggles a little bit. But I think he's gonna be fine. Overall, just a really good series. Hit well, played defense, did everything well, pitched well. Um, we have the A's coming up next. For whatever reason, last year we struggled against the A's, and it was mostly due to their first baseman, Nick, uh, Mr. Kurtz. That four-homer game he had off us, that walk-off home run he had against us. So we'll see how we're able to hold him down, if we are able to hold him down. The game's in Sacramento, so it should be good for our offense to be able to get some hits and some homers, get some slug on the board, right? But it's going to be an interesting series. It's an important series early on. I mean, we don't expect the A's to be a playoff team yet, but at the end of the day, they're still in our division. Those are important games to win. You never know how good a team can be when push comes to shove and it gets down to the end of the year. So these are big games. It's going to be a fun series. It's always fun playing a division rival, even if the A's haven't been the best recently. They've been beating us this last year. So it's going to be fun. It's a 3-game series in Sacramento. It lines up Javier to go that Friday game, and then Imai that's mm, that Saturday game, and then McCullers that Sunday game. So we'll see how it all goes. We're hoping for bounce backs from Javier and Imai. If Imai doesn't bounce back in a second start, we're not fully panicking. But Javier, I feel like we'll panic a little bit more, being as we haven't seen the old version of Javier in so long. So if he's going out there and just not doing it again, then you start looking a little worried here. And McCullers, you just hope he can do what he did again, or somewhat close to it, right? Um, should be a fun series. Um, I'll be back recapping every series of the year. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys after that A series, and go Stros.